however, for our rural spotlight. And I want to pick up on our discussion. I mentioned it to Robert Halfon earlier on, our discussion yesterday, which was about the cost of living crisis. Food costs are, of course, rocketing. You don't need me to tell you that, because the costs to farmers are also rocketing. Energy, fertilizers, feed, all the lot of it. Now, the Prime Minister called yesterday for us all to back British farmers and to use homegrown produce more. Well, if their cost of living crisis isn't addressed, a lot of them simply won't be there for us to use. So let's talk about it for the next few minutes. And I'm delighted, first of all, to be joined by Mark Smith. Mark's been on the programme before. He is a butcher and he is the owner of Smiths and Ellis Butchers, and there he is. Can you tell me, first of all, how inflation actually works from your point of view? I did this with Philip Judge yesterday, who's a trucker and delivers foodstuffs and hay and what have you. But how you sit down there and think, OK, last week a pork chop cost X, this week it's going to have to cost X plus 5%. How does it actually work?
It is very simple. Most retail businesses work on fairly tight margins, and if the price of our raw materials goes up, then our selling price has to go up by a similar amount, because we still have to pay our salaries, although they have increased recently because of the NI increases, and we are now experiencing extremely high energy costs and fuel costs. And we deliver a fairly large proportion of our products because we supply schools and nursing homes, restaurants. So it's going up rapidly.
So in a sense, it's the perfect reflection of the supply chain that Philip delivers feed to farmers, farmers produce meat that they then deliver to you, that you then sell to me and your brilliant customers. And at every point, prices are going up, and at the heart of it is energy.
That is the most significant issue. There are a couple of issues. Energy is the biggest problem at the moment. And when we consider probably the most commoditized meat product that's eaten in this country, it's chicken, because it's cheap, it's healthy, and everybody likes chicken. However, it's very energy intensive and it's very feed intensive, because chickens grow to maturity for food very quickly, 32 to 39 weeks. That requires a significant amount of feed, and we know the issues with feedstock prices, because what's happening in Ukraine has affected wheat and soy production, which has pushed the price up dramatically. And the energy used to warm the young chickens, and then the energy used to transport them, to process them, to get them to customers, has increased hugely. And that has a knock-on effect on the final selling price.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, I'll be talking to someone from the NFU Poultry Committee after you and I have finished our conversation. But I'm not one who's into great drama or stuff like that. But the other point Philip Judge made yesterday, and he runs a family business as well, same as you, is he said unless it's sorted, unless those energy prices are got down in some way or another, he fears that his business could go out the window. He could go bust. Is it looking that bad for you, Mark?
I think it really could. Where the smaller businesses exist, like ourselves, we don't have the financial reserves to cover huge energy increases. We don't have the purchasing leverage. So it really does put a lot of us at serious risk of being unable to continue. What we would hope would happen in a normally moderated market is that you would see that prices would increase slightly to us, we would increase our selling price slightly, and everything remains in balance. Because it is increasing at such a rapid amount, it's not quite at the point, but it's reaching the point where meat is becoming almost a luxury food. And that means that our future is potentially strictly limited. We're not a supermarket, so we don't supply everything else. So it has got a massive impact for certain sectors, certainly within agriculture. And we work closely with the local farms, and we know the pain that they're going through as well. We cannot pass the prices on quick enough for us to remain viable. And he was absolutely right in saying we may not weather this, primarily because of energy costs. And that's where, as a nation, we need to think about some kind of mediating factor to bring in, whether it's a VAT reduction on energy, whether it's duty reduction, or I hate regulated markets. But at this point, we have to do something to say, hang on, enough is enough. If we want to maintain our way of life, we have to do something very quickly and very significant.
Message received loud and clear, not overstated and certainly not over-dramatised, but I keep my fingers crossed for you, Mark, and also for my friend Philip. We need people like you, the backbone of the UK economy, as well as keeping us fed and watered. Great to talk to you, Mark. Thanks for finding time for us again. You keep in touch with us, but I genuinely wish you well.
We will.
Thank you. Mark Smith there, the owner of Smith's and Ellis Butchers.